What is up, everybody? Welcome to GFCC Radio, back at it again with our homeboy Genie. So glad to have you here with us again. The people have been waiting on you, bro, for real.
Hey, I'm glad to be back. We're going to have a fire episode today. We got some very important topics, and it's going to be delivered in the most effective and most comprehensible way possible.
You already know. First, I want to say I'm liking the blue and the black. Yo, you should look really good right now.
I need a certain energy right now when I'm in it. You got the white on, I got the black on, the black and white line, but the blue also for the wisdom, to get the wisdom about the dark. That's not chess, you know what I'm saying? Yeah, you know how, yeah. It's very
Yeah, and I got the
specific.
little red over here, so we got red and blue, white and black.
Come on, we didn't
Boom!
even plan that. It just happened like that.
So you guys are already noticing our connection. We're gonna wait for that one. But first, we're gonna talk about something extremely important that I feel like a lot of times is extremely misunderstood, as society has placed light and dark as benevolent and malevolent. But when you start to awaken, you realize that there's something a little bit off about that. That you need the dark and you need the light, but there's people that mix it up and think you're saying, yo, you need to have benevolence and malevolence. And so I want to hear from you exactly this understanding about light and dark consciousness and what it truly is and what it truly means.
All right, this may be a lot, but I'm gonna make it very comprehensible, like I said in the beginning. So, from my own experience, right, there was a point in time when I was activating this black dragon flame, right? Turned to be an obsidian flame. The obsidian flame pretty much contains the dark version of every other flame. Now, I'm not gonna lie, when I first did it, I thought that it was gonna like be like on like that tapping the more malevolent energy. I didn't even understand it yet. I just like at that period of time I was going through certain stuff where like I was getting pissed off very easily, and I'm like, you know what, bro? I'm gonna accept the anger and let it happen. And black flame time. When I went black, that is not what happened. I became very introspective. I became very passive. I didn't care about anything no more, low key. But it wasn't in a bad way. And here's what I started to realize: light and dark is not benevolence and malevolence. You see, let's do some history real quick, right? See, when humans were first on the earth, on like, because we didn't all have caveman days, like we had very advanced times in ancient days, but let's say on some caveman stuff, right? When it was nighttime, you was gonna get ate by like the lions and the jaguars and all that. So with that happening, people said, oh, the dark has to be bad, because when it was dark outside, they had a lot of fear. It was mysterious. They didn't know what was inside there. So in a historical way, based upon our own survival instincts, we can already associate dark with bad and light with good. As a kid, I was terrified of the dark, and now I love being inside the dark. But with all that being said, that's number one. And then number two, you have evil people who actually say, I'm on the dark side. And they say that on purpose because, number one, people already have a fear of the dark. But then number two, they want to finesse you because the dark could actually give you wisdom. You see, light and dark could actually be linked to wisdom and power. Here's what this means. You see, light is very expressive. Look at the sun. It's very expressive. Now, black holes suck things in. It's like the opposite of a star. It pretty much is going inside yourself. When you open your eyes, you see light. When you close your eyes, you're going inside yourself. So with the dark, right, it's more about becoming consumed with inside of yourself and becoming introspective, which will give you wisdom about yourself. But a lot of times people do hide the more malevolent parts of themselves inside of their shadows, because your shadows is not bad. Your shadows is just what's hidden. The darkness is what's hidden. Now the thing is, if you put a whole bunch of evil shit there, then okay, your shadow's gonna be partially evil. But if you go through your shadows, go through your darkness, you're gonna find everything. If you want to get information, you gotta close your eyes and go within. Like you would get like when you get a past life memory, you're tapping into the dark. People would be like, what does that mean? Like what? Because they still have that dark means evil. No, you're just going inside of yourself, understanding yourself, whether it's a good memory, a bad memory. It doesn't have to be some evil stuff automatically. When you're meditating, getting it, what color is it? Oh, it's black. Yeah, it's dark. So it's not evil. Now, with that being said, when you start getting more introspective and tapping into the hidden parts of reality, you're going to encounter certain beings that want to finesse you, and then they'll lead you down the whole entire dark is also evil, and because like people like it is okay to be dark and have darkness. Me, I'm very wise because I'm very introspective. I'm with inside of myself a lot. If you're more of a light based person, you're gonna be more active inside the world. That don't gotta be good or bad, because light could be bad also. Let's say you had too much sunlight, now you die. I could blast you with a whole entire light beam. That's I just used the light to mess you up. So what I'm trying to say is, right, when it comes to the dark, you're very introspective, and that's why I am kind of how I am now. And when you really want to actually like tap into this type of stuff, like I said, you're gonna have beings that want to mislead you. This is where like the word occult comes from, because the word occult just means the hidden. People hear occult and think evil automatically, but that's because when you tap into the hidden stuff, you start tapping into like the hidden beings, which could be demons or angels. And if you don't know what's going on, you're going to get misled. They're going to say, oh, nah, yeah, dark is okay, so go and hurt that person. And it's like, what? That's nothing to do with dark. Because technically, if you're going to, like, if you're going to hurt somebody, don't you have to open your eyes and then move your body and express yourself? That'd be you acting in your light-based consciousness, actually. It could be super confusing when you don't get it, but I'm saying it in these ways really break down your mind to stop associating things like dark is evil, light is good. No, it depends on how you use each one. Because you could be inside yourself and think evil thoughts, that'd be dark evil. You could be inside yourself and think good thoughts, that'd be dark but good. So with all that being said, you can get misled when you don't understand this, because if you hear that dark is okay, but you link dark with evil, now you start becoming a person who's okay with evil. So now I want to add this part when it comes to how to actually notice the difference with inside yourself and how you're transforming. People normalize your vibration dropping when you tap into the darkness. Now, there's only one thing about that I'm okay with. Let's say you go inside yourself and you encounter like a sad memory or an angry memory. Okay, that could drop your vibration, but you should see it as that's okay. That should tell you, oh, I kind of have to work through this, because you could have that memory and then not be sad or mad, but you're taking on that emotion. You have to process it. So in regards to that, that's okay. Yes, that will happen, but it shouldn't be like, oh, that's normal. That's okay. I'm just going to let it happen. Like, no, if your energy is starting to drop, whether it's just because there was a very sad time in my life. We get it. It was sad. I went through a lot of treacherous stuff. You know what I'm saying? Sex, slavery, all kind of stuff. You know what I'm saying? My home being destroyed, family being killed in front of my face, all kind of stuff. I seen it all. So all that being said, go through that shit, nigga. It was hard. It was. But that taught me, like, nigga, if you're getting so worked up, you're not seeing it from the highest perspective. The highest perspective with understanding, you let go of all the emotion attached to it. You just understand it for what it actually is. So you shouldn't normalize, it's okay if my energy drops, especially because a lot of people, it don't even be because of some sad master. It just be because they tapped into themselves, and they're saying dark is okay, but they also think malevolence is okay without even realizing it. And now they become more open to harming people. That's another way to tell. If you tap into the dark side and you're more okay with harming people, that's showing you right there that you're not doing it correctly, because you're tapping into malevolence. Now, granted, you may have to harm somebody sometimes. That means you actually want to do it. Like for me, I will defend myself if I have to, but I don't want to kill nobody. Like if I had to unalive somebody, Lord forbid, you know, GFL forbid, every single being forbid that I have to do that, because I don't want to do that, but I could if I had to. So that's all that deals with. When it comes to harming people, you should not be like, yeah, I want to harm, I want to kill him, yeah, let's go. It should be like, I gotta do this, huh? Okay, I have to do it, but it's kind of like, I don't want to do it, but it's like the only way. It should be like the last resort. Even inside this one book I'm reading about, it's called the life and the teachings of the masters inside the Far East. These beings are immortals, so much so, and this ain't just like no fairy tale woo woo. No, you had scientists and journalists that went here, regular Americans that just went there and was studying these people and said, "Holy crap, they doing crazy stuff in front of our face." They could make their body dematerialize, then rematerialize, so they could pretty much teleport and stuff like that. They could also walk on water, walk through fire, all that. But I'm saying this because they could do crazy stuff. They're very, very, very in tune. Now, at some point inside the story, they're trying to actually look for these certain kind of people inside the mountains, and the immortals are actually going to split from like the regular people. So because of that, you had a certain group of regular people who said, I still want to see those men inside the mountain. So, and I put like that because like these men have like grown in crazy ways. Like they have like fur, they have like hair all over their bodies because it keeps them warm from the mountains. They're wild. Okay. But long story short, they're very animalistic like. So if they see you, they may try to unalive you. So because of that, the immortals gave them a gun and said, listen, only uses as a last resort. So what does that show? That shows that these super duper in tune people, they still accept that harming somebody may happen, but they're saying it's a last resort. You shouldn't actually want to do it.
Right.
Even with fighting demons. I remember me and my boy Jeff made a video about from the Angelic Council of Light, and he mentioned the Bible verse about how inside Matthew, Christ casted a demon out of a man, right? And then moved it inside of a pig, and those pigs went inside the ocean and died and killed themselves. Now, what's the purpose of that story? Christ could have literally said, demon, burn and never come back. But he said, you know what? I'm going to spare y'all, because the demon said, hey, please cast us into the swine instead. Don't just destroy us. Jesus was like, you know what? Okay, get out of this man right here, but go inside the pigs instead. And then he went inside the ocean. And the pigs died because they're marine spirits. So with all that, so there's that also. Then also in real life, with my own experience, right? I've noticed that not all demons wanted to be on the earth. Sometimes you had some irresponsible person who just summoned them. That was like, oh yeah, I'm gonna summon this demon, boom, and they just never put them back. Now the demons here, like, it's just doing. Now, granted, it's a demon. Oh, let me say this: there is no such thing as a good demon. The word demon literally means an evil being. To say a good demon is contradictory. So I see that a lot. People gotta stop saying that. There's not a benevolent demon, because that means it's not a demon no more. Demon implies benevolence, so we gotta say that too. So I see it all the time, and that's not proper terminology. You could say, "Oh my God, he's being so big on the words." Words are important, because if I'm saying stuff to you and using all the wrong words, you're not gonna know what the heck I'm saying. Let's be real about that. So like that's why the teacher at school, if you don't understand them, they might be saying the words wrong, or you're not interpreting the words correctly because you don't understand the words. If you don't know the words, I'm gonna teach you about the words, what they actually mean. Demon means an evil being. Benevolence means good. How do you have a good evil being? It's contradictory. Doesn't make sense. See, I just explained that to y'all. So with that being said, let me backtrack. So like I said, right, I've encountered certain demons where it's like they didn't even ask to be here. Now, granted, they're still doing evil shit, but it's in their nature. They're evil beings who didn't want it. So I'm like, okay, you can't stay on the earth. I'm gonna just move you back to your realm, and you could do your evil shit. Because inside demon realms, they be fighting each other. It'd be, oh, who's the biggest demon? Oh. They do dumb shit down there. I swear to God, bro. They do dumb. They plot down there. They fight down there. They just do all wicked shit. And they live inside of a space that's attuned to their vibration, which is wicked shit. And it's good for them. Now, with some other demons, right? They came here on purpose to fuck shit up. They're like, oh, I'm going to destroy shit. And that's where I come in like, okay, I'm like, listen, even if I send you back to your realm, you're just going to try to come back. So now I got to send you back and kill you inside your realm. Now, granted, if it's like an actual, like a spirit, because spirits and entities are different. You have a spirit, which is pretty much an intelligent energy. Entity is an actual being. So, like, me as a person, right? Like I'm an entity. You know what I'm saying? This would be like I'm a physical entity. But then I have a spirit, which is the intelligent energy which is flowing through me. Now, there's also smaller spirits like emotions. Like emotions would be spirits. Here's how we could easily notice. What's an emotion? Energy in motion. When you feel anger, that's the energy of anger. Now, what's the intelligence of it? Your thoughts. Angry thoughts. That's the intelligence of the energy of anger. Intelligent energies, those are spirits. So with that being said, those are a bit different because any person could choose to align with a spirit. You can't really like abolish a spirit unless you just rise above the vibration of that spirit. So when it comes to spirits, they're going to always exist. But if you're not tapping into that, it don't really matter. But some other people can tap into that, and then they'll form an entity out of that spirit. So this is like you know, a little advanced spirit science. But you know, if you follow with me, you know what I'm saying? I know I talk a little bit fast, but just whatever you got inside your head, you know, that's the important thing. Whatever you heard is important, that's important. Then you can run it back one time, take notes, yeah. But that's light and dark. So long story short, let me keep it simple. Light and dark consciousness is simply just active and passive. It's extroverted and introverted. That's all that means. It's power and wisdom. When you're inside a light consciousness, it could be good or evil because you're just expressing yourself. Are you doing it in a way that's harming others, or are you doing it in a way that's helping others? Same with dark consciousness, right? That's going inside of yourself. Are you going inside yourself to tap into evil energies? Because that would be evil. Are you going inside yourself to tap into good energies? That would be good. See, dark or light could be good or bad. I gotta say this one last thing too. When it comes to false light, I don't like the term false light anymore because I'm realizing that false light really just means false benevolence. People who act nice but they're not actually nice. We shouldn't
Right,
call that a
right.
false light because those people they be very smart. They be very dark, but not evil dark. They just be very smart. They be inside themselves like, oh, if I act like this and say it like that, yeah, they're closing their eyes, being mad introspective about how to actually be fakely nice. So false light, that is a term that gets used, but it really just means fake niceness, fake benevolence, because that is a thing too. I actually saw it. I was watching a show. I was watching Supernatural, bro. There's these two. They were fighting these two gods, right? It's like these pagan gods, and they're like, hey, how you doing? They're the most jolliest people ever. Whole time they eating humans. They selling these reeds. They don't even like pretty much inside the pagan lore. If you had this like mint, or it's like a certain like flower, and you put it on a human, you're offering that human for sacrifice. So what they would do is these people would sell wreaths for free, like Christmas wreaths. They would sell it for free and be like, "Hey, yeah, take this free wreath. It doesn't just smell great? You betcha. Da da da. Want some cookies too?" Man, they put the wreath up at nighttime, come inside the crib and eat them. So that's an example of fake light, which is fake benevolence, because they thought about that. They was inside and thinking about that too. So yeah, long story short, but yeah, to wrap it back up to the original question, light is extroverted, dark is introverted, light is power expression, dark is wisdom introspection, and you get the vibes.
So, I first I want to say I like when you smoke in people's minds because I know some people are already sitting there like, shit, I gotta like reprocess. I gotta figure out what the hell's going on now, for real, for real. And that's my favorite part. And I now want to bring it to frequency because you talked about what it really is, especially trait wise, what it actually is. Now, when it comes to frequency, I find it interesting how we come across people who feel this draw to darker energies or more shadowy energies. Meanwhile, I realize, especially in both of our spiritual journeys together, with the time we've known each other, we've seen all these people with different types of abilities, which we will touch on more in a minute. But when it comes to abilities, I've noticed like some people, especially with my clients, some of them have abilities which are more shadowy. Like some of them have abilities to see people's shadows, see everything they're hiding, or they're able to like some of them even have an army of shadows that will do anything they say. And I know there's some people in New Orleans who actually, this is actually pretty common, where they have spirits around them who are helping them, but people perceive them as shadowy. Meanwhile, they're just ancestors or they're just another entity who is there to help them. And then people automatically think it is evil when that is not true. Making me think about Orishas. Some people that work with Orishas or different type of ancestral deities, they will be like, "Oh no, that's evil because it is not like the way that humanity as perceived as light and as benevolent." And so I'm witnessing the different frequencies. It's interesting because, for example, in all of our spiritual journeys, we notice that we always have to go through, for example, the dark night of the soul. Yes, there will be negative or malevolent entities who will try and feed off of that moment, or maybe a negative entity cause that dark night of the soul. But it does not mean that you gotta be stuck in there and then turn malevolent from that. It means that you're using that darkness to go literally further into the light. From light comes darkness, and darkness light. And me and you have been through countless amount of dark night of the souls, and every time we get into it, it is a little bit painful, but we're always every time super damn grateful for it. What do you have to say to the people who are experiencing darkness and aren't fully understanding of how to use it? Because us, it's like in our mind, we're like, that's a Tuesday. Just go within yourself and figure out. It's like they give half truth, half lies. It's like, say, negative entities like trying to make you really insecure. And then you wake up insecure and you're like, oh, true. Well, now I need to dive into who I really am then. Because if I'm insecure or awkward, it means I'm distant from myself. So then really that dark entity on a divine scale helped you get further into your light on the divine plan way. So what do you have to say to people who are experiencing this exactly and are feeling essentially trapped by the dark and don't know how to transmute it and use it?
Understand what you're truly dealing with, and also never go to the dark for power, because that doesn't make any sense. If you're going inside yourself, you could get power essentially, but you're really just getting wisdom to express a certain new power. So, like
Right,
for
right.
example, I couldn't go in someone's like, oh my God, I can shoot fireballs. But I had to learn that. And then when I do it, that's the light. You go to the light for power, the dark for wisdom. Now, when I say know what you're experiencing, it's because a lot of people will experience moments where they're going through like a lot of pain. Or like people, let's say like they're getting bullied or they feel like they can't stand up for themselves. That's when they say, I want to go to the dark and get this certain power. But they don't actually mean going to the dark. They mean turning a bit evil to get power. That's why you have the term villain arc now. It's trying to openly put it out. 'Cause people used to say, I'm going to go through my dark phase. Now it's just pure villain arc. Because a dark phase and villain arc is not the same. A dark phase is just going inside yourself. Like a dark night of the soul. Here's why it's called that. Because and the thing is, hard times are not always a dark night of the soul. Because if you go through a dark night of the soul, you actually fully wake up at the end. There's not multiple how people think. Like the actual concept where that came from India, I made a video about that because it was never seen like that. And here's what it means: your soul, right, is the observer. That's what your soul actually is. It's observing things. It's your consciousness, right? Mm-hmm. Now, with that being said, in order to actually experience that, you have to meditate. You have to go through the dark night to get to your soul. Then once you get to your soul, you wake up from the dark night. Waking up as in you're opening your eyes like, oh, I'm fully realized again.
Yes.
Now when people go through difficult times, they say, I'm going through a dark night of the soul. But they'll go through those times not even be fully connected with the soul all the time. Now sometimes they do. Sometimes it's more like, okay, I'm getting certain memories and now it's helping me with my soul and stuff like that. But even then you gotta be careful with that because if it's memories, right? Your memories are attached to different past life versions of you, different characters. So even then, you can't always mix that. Like, you're meant to take the lessons from that character and whatever useful abilities, but not the same exact pain that they felt. That's the point of processing it. So it's like you are a whole new person now. You have a whole new character, and you still have a soul. You still have a consciousness. You still have a consciousness that's separate from the character. So when you experience a certain memory, right, you shouldn't be like, oh yeah, this one character is super me, and I went through all of that, and I gotta feel that same exact way again, and fuck people, and no, because when you do that, you're not getting more in tune with your soul. You're getting in tune with that character. I don't care if it's an alien. Because I've had alien lifetimes that are, like, bro, I'm smarter than some of my alien forms right now. Like, you know, it just is what it is. So with that being said, right, your potential as a soul is not the same as your potential with inside of your past life. Mm-hmm. Inside this life now, when you're going through like a painful memory and stuff like that, the only way it's a dark night of the soul is if it's actually leading you to your soul to become the conscious and the observer who actually could choose what they want to think, feel, and act upon. If you're just crashing out the same as what you did back in past lives, you're not getting into your soul at all. You're just going through a painful moment. And if you're starting to turn more, if you're becoming more open to harm, you're turning malevolent. So when you're experiencing darkness, are you actually going inside yourself, or are you just experiencing hard times, or are you just experiencing malevolence? Because people will say, "Oh, I'm going through a lot of darkness." You're going through a lot of malevolence. You have a lot of malevolence, whether it's being trying to manipulate you, whether it's you getting attacked by certain beings, whether it's just the people around you just being malevolent. You don't know how to deal with that. You know what I'm saying? And if that's the case, that's cool, but understand what it is. I'm not going through darkness because I ain't meditated a day in my life. There's just mad evil stuff around me. How do I combat the evil now? Because the way you combat evil and go through darkness is not always the same. Because to combat evil, right, sometimes you have to use your power and your light to maybe fight it sometimes. Other times, you do got to learn a certain lesson. But that's not fully going dark all the time. And here's what I mean. You do have to go inside yourself to learn a certain lesson. But that doesn't mean that's an overall, like, I'm experiencing pure darkness. You're experiencing this malevolent energy, and you're using the darkness to help you fight that. But It's not like I'm using a dark energy to because dark magic, it's just evil magic. That's what it really is. It's just, when in dark magic, you try to harm people now. That's what it is. So when people say I'm doing shadow magic and dark magic, what are you really saying? Because that's not always good. You could say no, dark isn't bad. when you all them I know dark magic books and they contain evil spells for summoning demons,
Mm-hmm.
how to send demons at other people. That's
Yep.
what black magic is, and it shouldn't be called black. It should just be called evil magic. But you know they got to
Yeah.
sprinkle it and make you and get and finesse you. They do that on purpose, by the way. They openly say this stuff. When evil beings claim dark, they cannot scare you from the dark to make you not want to tap into it. Then whenever you do tap into it, it's always just evil shit. Because the dark side actually become wise. If you're not wise, you're not gonna know you're being finessed. That's the point of finessing
The
you,
whole play.
literally. You know what I'm saying? So yeah, but still know what you're going through. Now, if you're actually going through darkness, that means you're going through an introspective period of your life. How do you do that? Keep on introspecting, but always do it from the perspective of I am a soul. I am observing this. Even if sadness comes up, anger comes up, envy comes up, jealousy, whatever, lust, the whole lot. You are the thing observing that. You don't have to identify with that. Because when you start to identify with that, that's when you start to actually drop. And that may happen because most people tuck these things away inside themselves. But you get to a point where if you already faced all the low vibe stuff, everything in the dark is kind of good because you just go in there and just find pure light. You just find yourself there. Like
Yeah.
if you cleared out all the blocks, what's left? Source, God, the Most High, your spirit, all that. That's what's left. So it's like, how would that be evil at all? So going through darkness just means to go through introspective period. If you're going through evil stuff, learn how to combat that evil. Do you have to fight it? Do you gotta learn a certain lesson? Do you gotta overcome certain stuff and close certain doors inside of yourself? Then from there, it's like, okay, this demon I handle it with light. I fight it off, or I just raise its vibration. I do something active to beat it. Because active things don't gotta always be fighting. It could be like I put some salt down. Salt actually helps you with dark beings, literally. But it could be I put salt down, or it could be I cleanse my house, or it could be oh I have a demon of sloth. I'm gonna start working out. So that'd be a light way of dealing with it. Now if you're going through like a spirit of depression, you know what I'm saying? That's different. You gotta introspect that because depression is actually not that bad when you know why it's happening. You people how when you're in depression you're supposed to sit down like you don't want to do nothing. Yeah, don't do nothing. Go inside yourself and then find out why you feel this way. Then learn the lesson and then click, boom. When you're mad, it's like, oh, I'm mad. I should direct this somewhere else. Maybe I should do something like a lot. Like sometimes when you get mad, people are always slipping your boundaries. So tell them stop doing that shit. Simple. You know what I'm saying? Now, granted, there are times where you're getting wrathful. And you gotta stop being wrathful. But even then, you should probably do something else. If you have all this energy, focus on your passion and your purpose. Use it for that. So it's like when you start to know what you're actually experiencing, you know how to handle it properly. Oh, this is something that's trying to make me feel insecure about myself. Let me go inside myself and fix those insecurities. And then I could also use the light because let's say I'm insecure about my body. You know what? I could work out a little bit. Let me work out now. Light work. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
Literally.
Yeah.
So it's like there's so many ways to handle evil. You gotta first understand: am I going through darkness or evil? Am I going through introspective, or am I going through an introspective period, or am I turning evil, or is some evil being trying to get to me right now? Once you discern that, it's like, okay, if I'm going through introspection, just introspect. If you're going through evil, how do you fight that evil? Then fight that evil, whether it's by introspecting or by actually fighting and being inside the light.
No one could have said it better than you have just now. And you know what I thought about when you were talking about characters? I thought about how we sometimes label them egos because that's really what they are. It's like this ego, I'm Cash, you're Genie in this lifetime. But we know on a greater scale that we are just playing this character, and our soul has experienced so many different lifetimes or egos that have made our soul into what it is. It built the character of our soul. So really when we're experiencing past lives, we're experiencing what our soul has experienced, the egos it's played, and the sort of, if you want to say, wisdom and understandings it has accumulated in its soul history. But some people, they get so trapped in their ego now that they forget the soul aspect. They're like, no, I'm not no damn soul in a human body. I'm Cash or I'm Genie and I need to be respected. Everything is me, me, me. And this leads to malevolence because they don't understand that in hurting someone else, you're hurting yourself. And then you have a lack of love, which strays you into a lower vibration, which then makes you more susceptible to malevolence and being malevolent. Like it just leads to what people like to call being dark. And I've noticed this sort of lack of understanding with emotions, because me and you, we actually really adore being in a quote unquote low vibrational state when it's called upon and needed for wisdom. When something happens and we're sad, nobody likes being sad, but the vibration of being sad, it's like we honor it. We're like, yo, like this energy of being sad, I'm never gonna feel it again. And what is there here for me? We don't want to. People push away sadness. They push away these darker aspects of reality, and they hurt themselves because they're focused. Oh, love and lights remind me of the Pleiadians. When the Lyran Wars happened, the Pleiadians were Lyran descendants that said, we go into the other end of the galaxy and we ain't letting no darkness in, period. And they realized that they weren't growing. They were like, shit, why aren't we moving? Why aren't we growing? And they realized it's because they lacked challenge. They lacked diving into the dark for wisdom, which then made them more powerful. At the end of the day, made their light stronger. They were stagnant because they could not move. So we notice these emotional aspects where you realize you have to honor the vibration you're in. And yes, you transmute it. So sadness, then it's going to be transmuted then to joy. If your anger is transmuted into passion, you're not angry and pissed. Instead, you're passionate about that certain subject. So this is where we get into 3D and 5D, and it's reminded me of this book that I used to read when we were first awakening, and it was called Waking Up in 5D by Maureen, and she talked about all the different emotions and transmuting it into a higher density. And she's like, this emotion, for example, like anger goes into passion, sadness goes into joy, because when you're sad, something that you're joyous about was impacted and made you sad. So there's a yin and a yang here, but then you transmute it back. But if you don't, then it's a mass, and then it goes in the dark side of you that you got to unpack later. So many people, they don't go through their sadness, they don't go through their anger, their pain, or their struggle. They try and push it aside and focus on the light. So what you are saying is, when you embrace the shadow side, when you actually dive into the dark part of your soul, the dark part of reality, you start to awaken soul-wise, and consciously you awaken more.
Yeah, because literally it's like the only reason why you have all that low vibe stuff inside your shells is because you're not looking at it. Once you look at it, you would, if you actually did it properly, you know what I'm saying? If you looked at it, then transmuted it. Because once again, if that energy is there, you don't have to accept it, but you can understand it. Now, of course, you're going to usually first just naturally accept it because you don't know what you're doing at first. But then you feel it. It's like, okay, I feel this, and I shouldn't ignore it. I should understand it. Then it would go away. Then once you
Yeah.
clear out all that stuff inside your shadow, it just be source, God the Most High, your own spirit. You be getting past life, shit, all kinds of shit by going to, like, literally. Like, going through the dirt doesn't even have to be a rough period of time. It's only rough if you put bad stuff inside your shadow and didn't look at it. That's the
Yeah,
only way it's
right.
bad, literally. So it's like, yeah, and if you've done that for so long, you gotta look at it now. You gotta look at it. You gotta look at it and overcome it. You don't gotta embody it and then never just sit with it. No, face the dense stuff, transmute the dense stuff, do your understanding of it, birth for confirmation, and then once you understand, it's gonna naturally go away, and then you'll be at a higher vibe, and then all your dark stuff will be higher vibe too. It don't really matter what mode you're in, dark or light, you still be high vibe regardless. So yeah.
And for those who are having dark memories, say for example, like the hardest memories at the beginning for me and Genie, I'd say was Lyra. I mean, I guess that's really the start. So those were the hardest. But now when we look back at it, it's pure wisdom. Like I actually always revisit these memories. And it's no longer like a, oh my God, this happened. It's a, this made us who we damn are. Without this, we would not have the understandings we do now. So we always continue to go back, especially when we're getting new memories. Like I actually like the new memories that are painful, because they always have so much wisdom. Like recently, well, I guess we'll have to save this for the next one, because we're going to focus on abilities next. But for example, when me and Genie recently were getting memories about Regulus, we always are like in sync with where we get memories from. And recently we got some from Regulus. Long story short, we both were seeing what we went through at that time. and it lined up with what we were going through now. Like we were seeing, for example, the ridicule we faced by other feline beings and ridicule by our own people. And then we saw the battle, and then we saw the victory, and that victory in both frequencies of like the pain and the victory, we realized something. But to get to the victory was all of this growth and this evolution and this power we were stepping into to then lead to the victory, which we're at now. So now we are aligned. We are even further than where we were then. So we have even more wisdom, but everything that happened in that lifetime, in that timeline, we have access to right now. So when you look back, even right now in this lifetime, all of you could see what you went through, and you're like, thank you. Like you're thanking the universe for what it showed you. Because at the end of the day, when you heal the pain, all you see is wisdom. All you see is source in yourself. So now I want to talk about abilities, because we've been noticing in our journey so far is the amount of different abilities we see. And in general, we can label a bunch in kind of like the lighter category. Like there's some that are amazing at healing, some that are amazing at channeling certain type of beings and stuff like that, and some that are a little what people would call shadowy or darker. Like we've seen people that have this amazing ability to see people's shadows, to see right through them. And it's so beautiful to see this power. Or some people, they have the ability to really easily manipulate lower energies, or I should say shadower energies. So even shadow beings respect them. They're not bad people, they're not evil people, but they're like, yeah, like these shadows respect me and I want to use this for the light. And then, of course, people misunderstand that concept. I think my favorite one is being able to see people's shadows. But so far, we've seen some positive people who have this ability and are doing amazing and are using it to really help people evolve. But then there's some who used it for dark, and they felt like everybody then was being fake, or they felt like that people weren't being genuine, things like that. And it changed their way of thinking, which made them malevolent and want to do malevolent things. So I want to hear your perspective about abilities, especially when it comes to seeing abilities that are kind of light and abilities that are kind of dark or shadowy.
All right, bet. So yeah, I'll talk about the first one about seeing people's shadows. That's like a real dark ability, you know what I'm saying? And what I mean real dark, I mean like that's like actually like a dark ability. Because people would think that like being able to curse people, that's a dark ability. No, it isn't, because you're being active. That actually be a light one. But if you think that light is good, it's like that's not light. Yes, it is. It's just not good. So with that
Right.
being said, with seeing people's shadows, it's like that should be first used on yourself. You know, because it's kind of crazy if you're looking at somebody's shadows, they're getting triggered by their shadows. Because if you're getting
Yeah.
triggered, it's a reflection on yourself of what you're not dealing with. So it's like you have like if you have that ability to see people's shadows and you're kind of getting triggered, reflect it back on yourself. Real talk. Because I've been there before. I'm like, why people do this? And I'm like, what the fuck? And I'm like, oh, okay, I get it now. Now, of course, now I still see stuff where it's like, what the fuck was that? But that's because I know now. Like, for example, when people do like stuff that I think is kind of like foolish, I'm like, oh, I don't like that because I don't want to be a fool. And I'm aware of that. You know what I'm saying? That's why the trigger's there. And to get over the trigger, it's like, okay, I'm not foolish, and I can just let them be a fool. It's not that deep. I just got to become the awareness again. Because as a character, I don't want to be seen as a foolish character. As a soul, it don't matter. Like as a pure soul, there's no qualities. Now, of course, your soul goes through experiences, it gains information, it gains a personality. But a pure soul is just an awareness. It has no qualities at all. So it's like that care that I have is a pure mental based 4D thing, and that's why inside the 4D there's still good and evil. You know what I'm saying? Because with different concepts, different ways of perceiving life, you can still perceive it as good or evil. Once you hit 5D, you get into it. The soul is just pure understanding, and just we kind of just dispel the whole evil shit. Because then you even see how evil kind of works for the good. They just don't even realize it yet. You know what I'm saying? But and let me just explain why. The reason why is because evil helps you grow, essentially. You know what I'm saying? But that's not always dark helping you grow, though. Don't get it confused. Because evil helping you grow and dark helping you grow is different. Evil is like going through pain. You know what I'm saying? Like if I have a painful memory, that was a painful memory. It don't gotta necessarily be a dark one, because dark just means introspective. So it's, you know what I'm saying? So it's like if dark is helping you grow, that's because you're introspecting inside your darkness. You're going inside, you're introspecting. That helped you grow. If evil helped you grow, it's because you went through pain and then you grew from it. You know what I'm saying? But you can't confuse the two. So with dark abilities also, right? When people find like a new when people hear dark ability, first things first, don't go like, oh shit, I don't want to tap into the dark abilities, because that's what you're starting to say. I want to tap into the evil abilities, which you shouldn't. Like, you shouldn't, you know what I'm saying? Because some abilities are evil, you know? But it could be evil, like evil dark. For example, let's say I had the power to fucking go inside myself and then fucking possess you. That'd be a dark power, because I'm going inside myself to possess you. You know what I'm saying? Now, if I'm making you do cool shit and you wanted me to help you do it, okay, maybe it might be good on some level. You know what I'm saying? But that could also be evil as shit. You know what I'm saying? Another thing that people may call a shadow ability is like summoning demons. That's not a dark ability. That's a malevolent ability. You're summoning malevolent beings. That isn't. You don't have to close your eyes and like, no, if anything, you're being active. You have to say these spells and do hand signs. That's very active. That's technically a light ability, but it's an evil one if you really look at it. But when you still associate light with good, it sounds confusing. How is summoning demons a light ability? Because you're being active. Light is just active. Light is not good. So people shouldn't think about, oh, light abilities are the good ones that are so great, and the dark ones they're kind of dense and they hurt people. Because it really just depends. Is the ability more introspective wise or more extroverted? Because I see this a lot where people they're like, oh yeah, since dark isn't bad, I'm going to have dark abilities and tap into my dark abilities. That's cool. But when you start doing evil shit, it's like, dog, that's not no dark ability. That's an evil ability. When you summoning demons, you're being evil. And it's not even dark either, because you're being active as fuck. Yeah. So it's like this is something that like really takes true understanding, because like it sounds confusing as shit when you're so attached to light being good and dark being bad. And I really want to, and if you have dark abilities, analyze, is it really a dark ability, or is it one that's a dense one that can be malevolent? Because when you analyze it like that, it's like, okay, I can't just say that dark is good and dark is okay, therefore I can tap into dark abilities, we still think that is evil. When you judge, like, okay, this right here is an actual, like, mainly evil ability, if you still want to use it, you better accept what come with that, or you better do it in a way that's actually for the good. And an example of that would be like, let's say you do summon demons, which would be an evil ability, but you only do it if, let's say, your friend's finding a demon and stuff like that, and they're getting their ass whooped, and you say, okay, bet, I'm gonna summon this motherfucker under a fucking symbol that's gonna fucking bind it, that I could banish it. So now you may summon the demon, and you're like, hey, demon guy, look at you. You can't move. You see that symbol? You can't move. Now I'm gonna banish you, bitch. You just took an evil ability and then made it good. Now it's a good ability, because you just summoned the demon, but you only did it to banish it because your friend was fighting that same demon. So that's a real example of using an evil ability for the good. Now, using a dark ability for the good, like introspective one, like seeing people's shadows. You could, if you see people's shadows, you could do that to either help them with their shadows. Like, oh, I can say that you're hiding a part of yours. Oh, let me put a twist on this. Okay. Let's say they're hiding a part of themselves that actually wants to be kind, but they feel like they can't be kind, so they always got beat up. I just found some good shit inside your shadow. You want to be a nice person, you're just scared to be that. You know what I'm saying? So, see, people's shadows could be used for the good. Oh yeah, he should be nicer. I'm gonna help you become nicer, but you feel like you can't because you always been bullied, but I'm gonna teach you how to properly do it. That could also be used for the bad, though. I see your shadow, now I bully you. Oh my God, you so fake. You swear you act like you happy. I know you really don't like how big your nose is, boy. I'm about to get on your head top. You act like you really confident. Nah, you really insecure about your hairline. You got the Vegeta hairline. Like, it could be dark. And what was crazy, I always had that ability, and this is why I ain't gonna lie. In school, back when we did roasting, at first I couldn't roast. But at some point, I started getting good. But I peeped that, and like my jokes would always like sting. I'm like, why is my shit stinging? But I'm peeping. Oh, every joke I'm making, I'm tapping into their shadow. That's fucked up. It was funny back then, but now it's kind of fucked up. Because even with I work with kids now, and they love cracking jokes. I'm like, dog, I could really sting you, but I don't be doing it. You know what I'm saying? I don't be doing it. But yeah, long story short, that's an example of using a dark ability for the bad. When you like see people shouting, you kind of mess it up. But yeah, I want to really emphasize this part is going to confuse the fuck out of people. I already know it is. Okay. An evil ability is not a dark ability. So sometimes you think you have a dark ability, but it's actually kind of light because it's active, but it's still evil as shit. Once again, some of the demons. That's the easiest one I can think of right now. Or like Because people use shadow magic. Most of the time, shadow magic is sending malevolent energy at your person. Because real shadow magic would just be hidden magic. You just tap into the hidden aspects of reality and then harness that energy for whatever the fuck. Because there's many different energies hidden within inside of reality that you can't see. You know what I'm saying?
Right,
Like,
right.
you know, you have etheric energy, astral energy, spiritual. These would all be like, if you want to really say shadow, that'd be a hidden energy, a shadow energy. You know what I'm saying? But most of the time, people say shadow energy, they just mean malevolent energy. Like, I'm noticing that when people be, because even online, I'll look up shadow magic. They'll be like, yeah, casting summoning demons and casting curses and doing death spells. I'm like, this is not shadow magic. This is just malevolent magic. This is just you directing malevolent energy and then harming somebody with it. And then people realize that, oh, in past lives, I've had shadow magic, but shadow isn't bad, so I'm going to do it. Nigga, you have, because even if you're fighting your enemy with that shit, right? It's like when you fight an enemy with the only intent to harm the enemy, you're not fighting from the perspective of source at all. You know what I'm saying?
Period.
You're not. And because of that, source not going to help you. God's not going to help you. The angel's not, especially the angel's not going to help you. Now, you may have certain, like, ancestors that do, because they with the shits also. I ain't going to lie. Some of your ancestors with the shits. Like, they will, like, I got some Haitian ones, they will blow your brains out. And I'm like, yo, chill the fuck out. We don't do that shit no more. You know what I'm saying? Like, we don't do that. But the angels, they're not going to fuck with you. They're going to be like, oh, you want to be evil? We don't do that shit. Because they would come down and light this motherfucker up. And I remember when I was learning how to, because I could do a lot of fighting now. And when I hit that point, when I was like, yo, like, I'm really hitting, like, this 5D shit. I don't want to harm niggas no more. I learned how to fight in so many different ways. It was crazy. Like, I learned all kinds of banishing spells. I learned all kinds of binding spells. I'm like, yo, I don't even gotta kill you. I could just trap you in your own fake reality where you have to face your own pain and then work through it to become a better person after that. Ta-da. You know what I'm saying? And while going through that, he may be harmed a little bit, but I don't want to harm him. I want him to get better. So shit, face your, hey, like, because most people, if you're doing evil shit, you're not in tune with your soul. And there's a certain reason for that. If I put you in a fake reality that makes you experience that, you're either going to keep on fucking, you're either going to get fucked up by your own shit or overcome that shit and become better.
Right.
So, a lot of people don't know how to do that because they're not even open to learning that because they just want to kill. So, yeah, you got to really, like, when it comes to these dark abilities never have to be dense or evil. Because, like, simply just, like, clear cognizance, right? Like, the instant knowing. That was one of my main things because I'm always inside myself. I just download it. That'd be a dark ability. But but once somebody says dark ability, they hear, oh my God, oh, it's a dense ability. Oh, be careful with that. It's like, no, you think that dark means evil. That's your issue. I see that all the time, people. You know what I'm saying? So it's like, and granted, and let me say this too. I'm saying I am saying stuff like this right now on camera because I'm teaching y'all. But don't go around to your friends saying, I have dark powers. And then you want them to understand that dark don't mean evil. They're gonna be like, you got dark powers. I don't fuck with you no more. So don't go just saying that shit. You gotta, because if also with the real dark ability, right? One of them is reading people. You know what I'm saying? You could see what's inside them. Even if it's not their shadows, it could just be what's going on inside them. You know what I'm saying? You could know what they're thinking. Like, oh, they're gonna take this shit the wrong fucking way. Let me fucking not. I noticed that a lot of my abilities are geared towards getting information, holding it, because I could store it inside myself, inside the dark. These are all dark abilities. That's why I got the black on right. I got the black with the blue. I got the darkness, the introspection with the wisdom. You know what I'm saying? And my book on the white, and then red's also big for power and vitality. Is also expressed. You know what I'm saying? You got the light and the dark right here. And if you realize, none of us are evil at all. You know what I'm saying? So this is what a real example of a dark, because I'm actually more of a dark consciousness. You know what I'm saying? Like, literally, that Cash reflects, like, he's like my light side, if you want to put it like that, you know what I'm saying? So with that being said, nigga, I never want to be evil. Like, I've experienced, since we're all humans do want to survive. And because you want to survive, your survival instincts can make you want to harm people in order to save yourself. And that often gets distorted to the point where it's like, people get so attached to their character that they have to make that character survive. So now if you think that I'm Mr. Big Man, I'm Mr. Big Guy, someone says, nigga, you a bitch. You see that as an actual attack on yourself, someone trying to kill you, now you punch the fuck out of them. Because that's your survival instinct. It's not coming
Right.
from your actual soul. And I'm saying that because due to the fact that we are inside these vessels, you can have malevolent urges like that because it gets distorted. Your survival instincts get distorted. And at that point, you would have to work through that. And as a person who has done that, like I've had this shit pop up and I've worked through it. And I've always saw it as stupid and pointless and whatever the fuck. So I'm saying this because as an actual dark being, nigga, I'm not fucking evil, but I do know what it's like. But so would a light being. I know a lot of people who don't like to meditate. They'd rather like be more active, and they out here whooping niggas' asses. There are light being whooping niggas' asses because they're just so active and just have to. They can't actually sit down and understand why they're doing what they're doing.
Yeah.
That's why you need light and dark. You need to know how to actually understand yourself and how to express yourself. And you can't do one without the other. Because if you understand yourself but you can't express yourself, you're kind of like that weirdo now who can't talk. You're just Mr. I used to be that too. I'm not trying to come at, like I used to be the same way. Like the way I talk now, I was never like this, dog. I swear to God. I was just more like, yeah, it was good.
Really used to be a quiet type dog.
On me. I like if I'm around people that I don't know, I'm gonna get quiet at first. Like, let me analyze because now I know what I'm actually doing. It's like, oh, I gotta read
No,
the
this is
room.
hilarious because I was the complete opposite. I chat too much, da 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 da, da chatting too much, and everybody be at the table be like, "Shut up and eat your damn food." Like, but you got like I could not be quiet. I could not just go within myself. So me and you both, we was always the white lion, the black lion, and then we kind of had to realize, oh shit, like we gotta flip things around. I gotta stop, da 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 da, stop chatting, and you're like, yo, I gotta start actually expressing myself more. That's interesting.
Cause I'm like, yo, like number one, I want friends. Number two, like it be like, bro, I be seeing people like argue over dumb stuff or like not know an answer or something. And I just know the answer, but I don't want to say it. I'm like, dog, if I just fucking spoke, nigga, I'd be such a lit person. So I started speaking. Now I'm lit. I used my light shit. And then now with Cash, you see Cash is pretty motherfucking smart himself. My guy's pretty intuitive too. He had to be like, you know what? Let me stop talking. Let me just, you know what I mean? So yeah, I'm going to end this question with the fact that light and dark powers, the way that I see it, based upon the actual definition, like, this ain't just me making shit up. I want to see it because this is me wanting to see it this way. No, this is what it actually means. Okay,
Yes.
what other people did is, oh, I'ma just make dark mean evil. That they did the whole little kid scribble, make my own word shit. I'm doing the real shit. Off the actual definition, a light power is simply any power that deals more with expressing yourself, expressing energy, and being more active with inside of the outside reality. A dark power is any power that deals more with introspection and also being able to see the hidden parts of reality, which none of those got to be good or evil unless. Because a good or evil ability is any ability that's either helping somebody, that's a good ability. You know what I'm saying? And then an evil one is one that's harming somebody. So if you guys have abilities that harm people, do not instantly call those dark abilities. Some of those might be. Some of those might be based in introspection. But some of them are also based inside the light too. So you got to separate that. If you have evil abilities, right, or you at least have abilities that are mainly used for evil, right? Recognize that and then say, damn, if I want to use this, how can I do it in a way that's not harming somebody? Oh, okay, when I summon the demon, I'm only doing it to get it out of the town that's being fucked up. I'm gonna summon it here, then banish it. Okay. If it's like, oh, I could see niggas' shadows. Oh, okay, let me not actually be a dickhead about it. Let me actually tell them like how to work through this shit, or just leave them alone and understand them and be a person who's just open whenever they need that help, but maybe don't need it right now because they don't want to talk about it right now. Yeah.
I think adding in some more terminology as well, like for example, saying positive and negative or high vibe and low vibe may help some people because some people, you'll notice they still say light and dark. And when they're talking though, we're like, okay, we understand what you mean. We really understand what you're trying to say by that. But then we're like, okay, well, you really mean high vibe and low vibe or positive putting out and giving to the collective, given to people, make rising them up, or negative where you're taking away and you're causing them, okay, causing them harm or causing them negative situations. So I feel like terminology, like you said at the beginning, is very important, and start realizing the terminology. We shouldn't be saying light and dark anymore in that sort of terms. We'd be like, oh, that's light, that's dark, in a type of positive or like a evil and good way. When it's like, okay, really, it's like Dark Night of the Soul. You'll notice, yes, there's a lot of like lower vibrational energy you're going through, but it's like the vibration is lower, but it's teaching you how to go higher. You see what I'm saying? Or if it's like, okay, is this really positive or negative? This, because people could say, oh, the Dark Night of the Soul is positive, because it is. It's really helping you. It's giving to you. So now we're just giving more terminology so you can understand that you're the way you use your words and the way that you express something is very important, and it's going to help, especially now where the collective is going. Using the right terminology is going to be very helpful. Now we're almost at the hour mark. So, is there anything that you want to talk about in specific, or anything that you want to tell the people about? Last subject before we head out, because everybody has heard, especially your understanding of light and dark consciousness, and they've seen, especially our connection as the light, as the white and the black lion, right? And now we're going to dive into this more in the next one. You guys are going to see what's up. But I want to hear anything, your last words about light and dark consciousness, and whatever you feel is necessary for people to know.
I like what you said about the different terms, because with dense energy also, you can experience a dense energy that isn't malevolent or dark. You know what I'm saying? Like, for example, when you experience sad, well, even though sadness makes you go inside yourself, you could be doing something currently and then feel sad. That is a bit denser, but it's not trying to harm you. It is, and the dirt out of the soul. It's like when you go to dirt out of the soul, right? Sometimes there might be dense stuff. Sometimes there might not be. It just depends on where you are at your journey, what's inside yourself to look at. So it's like
Yeah.
saying dense actually very important, because it's like it does define something where it's like this energy is heavier, but it don't really gotta be evil. It's just denser than this higher energy that I'm used to. And when
Mm-hmm.
you know that, it's like, okay, now I could transmute that into a higher vibration. So
Yeah.
that I found that very important. Understanding dense and subtle energy also,
And you could say
because
things like sadness or certain emotions are like light and dark. Like you could say like sadness is dark and that happiness is light. Yeah, but again, that's separating benevolence and malevolence, like we talked about from the beginning.
especially with also what you do with that emotion too, because
Yeah.
people could feel an emotion that would normally be light, but then internalize it and make it dark. You know what I'm saying? And then it's like they don't always gotta make it dense either though. And then sometimes you can have a super duper subtle emotion that make it dense, meaning that, like, let's say that you're happy, right? But then you start thinking about, like, damn, like, I'll never be happy like this again. Oh, just dropped yourself and made a dent. You know what I'm saying? And it don't even gotta be evil no sometimes. You know what I'm saying? It don't even gotta be dark all the time either. 'Cause now it could just be like, I'm happy. Oh, fuck. But you're still kind of doing shit. And then it becomes dark when you introspect, like, damn, why do I do that shit? So there's all these different levels of, like, is it dark? Is it dense? Is it evil? Sometimes it could be all three. It could be just one or two out of the three. And this could be like nitpicking sometimes, but if you want true understanding, like, you're gonna have to understand this shit. And that's just naturally because of 5D awareness anyway. You know what I'm saying? Like, as you get more in tune with your soul, you will naturally understand these things. That's why you don't really gotta force nothing, because you're always gonna learn what you need to learn at this period of time. You're always gonna take from any video, any book, what you need. Like, I've read books where I got so much shit from it. Then I read it like a year later. It's like, dog, yo, I missed so much shit. So even with this video, right? Some shit may be like, what the fuck was he saying? But you still got some of the other part. Okay, take that. Cause you gonna see what I mean in a couple of years. You gonna see what I mean. You know what I'm saying? Cause it's gonna happen with 5D anyway. Because yeah, certain stuff is dense, certain stuff is dark, certain stuff is malevolent. But they're never all the same. Cause a lot of people associate shadow work with dense work, which sometimes shadow work will be dense if there's dense energy inside your shadow. But it's not always like that. You could like I said before. Some people are just scared to be nice. That's not nice is not a scared is not a dense emotion. If anything, how they are now is dense, and inside their shadow, there's actually more subtle energy, but they're not expressing it. So that's how you could do shadow work, but it's not dense at all.
Right.
So that's why it's important to really understand the terminology. I like how you added that. Yeah, that's really important. So yeah, I'm gonna end with also definitely focus on what's dense and what's subtle. Cause subtle means like it's very like weightless. It's like dense is like it's heavy. You know what I'm saying? So yeah, focus on that too for a fact, because sometimes you actually might need some dense energy too, in the sense of like when you fly. Oh, I'm gonna do 2 examples of this. Number one, simply just grounding yourself. Niggas be trying to get so all the way up here, but they're not grounded, so now they're living inside la 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 land, thinking that if I imagine this, it's gonna manifest tomorrow, and I'm not gonna fucking try to work a job. I'm not gonna try to get food. I'ma just think about it. It's gonna come tomorrow. Like, buddy, this is not your dreams right now. This is like reality is a dream, but it's not that kind of dream. You're not the only creator inside this motherfucker. We all create inside this motherfucker. You know what I'm saying? So it's like there's yeah. And the number 2 is the fact that I noticed this more recently. When I went to somebody's town to fight the demons over there. When I went there, I didn't see shit. I'm like, am I tripping? Like, there's no demons. I'm like, then I'm like, wait a minute. I am vibing pretty high right now. I had to literally drop my vibration to lower the plane I was in. So it's like I'm inside their town, but in the 5D. Shit is lit. You know what I'm saying? Shit is lit. But I'm like, oh, I have to drop to the etheric plane. That's always inside the fucking 2D. I'm like, yo, Doug, that's because most demons live inside the fucking 2D, inside the etheric plane or the astral plane. You know what I'm saying? Some live inside the 4D too, but that's more like higher demons that are actually like smarter and actually like make you like and actually fuck with your mind a bit more, because it's like that's the mental plane, the 4D. The astral plane, they'll just send you images and feelings, and they're not always that smart. But long story short, though, I had to literally drop my vibration to become denser, and then perceive the actual demons there. I'm like, oh, okay. Now, granted, I wouldn't even have to do that if the people in that town weren't so focused on that low level of existence. Because it's like, because technically all around us, right? If you perceive this reality from a certain plane of existence, you're going to see some not so nice things. It just is what it is. Now, I'm kind of wary about saying it because I don't want you to be like, fuck, now I got, like, no, it's, you know what I'm saying? I'm glad it's at the end of the video, because if you got this far, you're probably a real nigga. Not saying that the ones who left aren't not real niggas, but you're definitely a real nigga. Like most definitely, so you can handle this shit. But yeah, depending on how you look at shit, there could actually be some not so nice things. But if you're vibing so high, you can't even perceive that shit. But depending on what you want to do, you got to drop that shit. Sometimes also with talking to certain people, you'll be trying to give them information, but you're tapping into their 5D self. They still inside the 4D and inside the 3D, and you know what I'm saying? You gotta lower, like, oh, let me drop myself to their vibration. Oh, they need this advice right now. I've done that. Right. Well, let me rephrase. I haven't fully done that, but I haven't met people where I'm like, dog, this motherfucker gonna be this, gonna be that, and they're not talking like, yo, have you ever been 'cause I don't tell them I'm doing the reading. I'm just like, yo, you ever been interested inside this thing right here? They're like, no, not at all. I'm like, oh, they're not there yet at all. I'm like, oh shit, let me drop the fuck down. I'm like, oh, my bad. By any chance, do you have like a problem at your house? Yeah, bro, my mom be blowing my shit, dog. Da, 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 da. And I'm like, that's what they need. Now when they get that in check, it's like, oh, now I'm a wizard. You know what I'm saying? I fix, because even I'm about to link this up so well. See, wizards can move energy. You could do that with your speech. Your mom always blowing your shit. You might do some magic and just shift the energy through your speech to make her become cool with you. Now you become a wizard, nigga. You know what I'm saying? Before I'm saying, yo, you got a wand at home? They saying, nigga, I don't got no fucking wand. I'm like, oh, my bad. Do you got a belt at home that you might be hitting you with? My mom, stay hit me with that fucking belt. Yeah, you know what I'm saying? I'm like, oh, so yeah, even within like giving readings, sometimes you gotta drop yourself to their vibration also. So becoming dense isn't always bad. It's only if you become like OD dense and you're becoming so dense that you're like on the vibration of like demons. Because I will say this, the denser you go, the heavier you go, you will encounter more malevolent energies, because when you're malevolent, you can't vibrate as high. It's just science. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. So it's like, if it's too dense, at some point you're gonna encounter some evil shit. You know what I'm saying? But you don't gotta become evil because of that shit. You only will if you get manipulated. Because you could, like I said before, when I went denser to fight the demons, I was trying to fight the demons, and I was doing my shit, and I didn't become evil at all. You know what I'm saying? But some motherfuckers may just get too dense and not know what the fuck's happening. Now they're like, oh, now the demons are like, oh, it's a fucking opportunity, nigga, yeah. And then they grab on you, because I ain't gonna lie, like the denser you go, the less contact you have with certain beings. Because a lot of beings don't want to. A lot of beings don't want to make themselves denser, because when you get denser, you are more prone to certain stuff. For example, if you had a light body right now, I hate that term, Loki, because there's several light bodies. But let's say you were inside like your 5D soul body, right?
Okay.
You wouldn't struggle with lust, anger, none of that shit. You know what I'm saying? But because you're inside this dense human body,
You can't.
it comes with dense emotions also. Not everybody like that shit. So I will say that with dense energy, the denser you get, it can get more like hectic and more like malevolent, but that don't mean it has to get that way. You can still get dense and then not experience that shit. It's just more likely. Same with the dark shit. Like if you tap into hidden shit and you're at a low vibration, the hidden shit gonna be the demons. Now if you're at a high vibration, tapping into the darkest shit, you might see some angels, because they hidden also. You know what I'm saying? Because even right now, like I said, if you perceive this right now from a certain plane, there's gonna be some not so nice things. But also, if you see it from a higher plane, there's some very nice things out there right in front of your face you can't even see, because you haven't had that vibration yet. So yeah, it goes both ways. But I think I ended on that, on the fact that it's important to know when to be super high vibe and when to go dense. But when you go dense, don't get so dense that you become so easily influenced by malevolent energies. If you're gonna go that dense, only do it because you know what you're doing, like you're gonna fight a demon. But don't just fight a demon for no reason. Actually be trained for this shit. So yeah, I'll end on that.
Yo, you laid out a spirit science that a lot of people struggle to understand. And I'm hoping now with this awakening, whether they're watching it now or in a few years from now, when people are now starting to need this wisdom more often, is going to help people to understand, so then they could go further within their conscious journey. And as ETs are coming in a few years, people are going to have a little bit of a struggle understanding, like, oh, how come there's like snakes come in, and like these dark snakes come in, these snake beings, and people are like, no, they're demons. No. And it's like it could be the same thing in reverse with the other side of things. So I feel like there's going to be, especially when they see ETs, people judge right away from eyes, and they're trained to judge based off of a certain look and a certain way of things. Meanwhile, they don't realize that, yo, that human with white skin could easily be evil, and this reptilian with horns could easily be light and positive and good. So there's an understanding that people need to have that we are making, and I'm so glad we're having this conversation. Thank you so much for being here, Genie, and we about to have you on again real soon.
Anytime, I look forward to speaking on here again. I was gonna say I hope y'all enjoyed it, but I know y'all enjoyed the video. So because of that, like the video. If you're not subscribed to my boy, go subscribe to my boy. You know what I'm saying? I got my own channel too. You know what I'm saying? Come over. You know what I'm saying? Mess with the both of us. We pretty lit. A little dynamic duo. We gonna be here again.
Tell everybody where they can find you.
Oh man, look, I got my YouTube, which is at Geniedot. I got an Instagram, which is at Geniedot with a dot and an underscore. I got a Patreon, that joint saucy. It is $10, so you gotta pay, but it is worth it if you have the funds for it. That joint is valid. You can find, like, if you go to my YouTube, you'll find all the links in all my descriptions down below, which is at Geniedot. You know, I'm pretty easy to find. And yeah, you can catch me on all that. I have a course. Also, if you want to ask for project, I have a course out for that too. You know, I got all kinds of stuff. So yeah, just check your boy out. I got you with whatever you need. My boy got you with whatever you need. We got whatever you need. And I'm trying to find a word to rhyme with need, but I can't. So peace.
Yo, thank you for coming on. You heard it from a king himself. This was GFCC Radio, and we'll see you in the next one.